Flipping gaming computers can be a mysterious thing because you never really know what you could end up getting. Most of the time you'll end up with a nice pre-built, however sometimes you'll get something so interesting that you just have to sit down and admire it. Okay, maybe it's not that deep, but I definitely have an interesting computer to show you guys. So this is a computer that I originally purchased off a Facebook group at an amazing price, and it has a Ryzen 7 7800X3D, an RTX 3090 Founders Edition, and a 1000-watt power supply, 64 gigabytes of Corsair RAM, and of course what makes this build really unique is the case, which is a Corsair 7000D. It's one of Corsair's top of the line models, and I've got to point out, it's pretty big in case you haven't noticed. For reference, here's a computer that I would call normal, or if anything, maybe a little bit small. And this one measures around about 1.4 inches maybe. But on the other hand, this massive case measures at around the 2 feet mark. Literally about a third of my height. With a case that massive, you could also imagine that it will have a massive price tag. I mean, $270 is not cheap. That's about 3 regular cases right there. So with that in mind, what do I plan to do with it? Well, let's start from the beginning because I left out 2 little details. The computer did not come with the original side panel. This is because the past owner clearly shattered it. And the RTX 3090 would not work with this motherboard. The reason it did not work with this motherboard was due to some type of compatibility issue. And I know it wasn't the motherboard or the graphics card because I tested them out with other builds. And so the first logical step was actually to order the side panel. And I was lucky because Corsair is one of the big manufacturers that actually supply the side panels in case you ever break them. However, it does come at a hefty price tag of $55, literally the price of a budget case. So the next question that needed to be answered was how can I make this build really pop and make it look really nice? And that's when it hit me. I knew that I needed to get an XFX 9070 XT, 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance RAM, a vertical mount for the GPU, and power supply connection. There was no other way. So the parts came in and I got right to work. Man, I had to say, smaller PCs are cool, but this PC is just cool. And I mean literally cool. For reference, the 9800 X3D stayed around the 65-degree mark while running FurMark and OCCT simultaneously. And the 9070 XT stayed at the 55-degree range, which is pretty insane, but it is also a brand new card. So that kind of plays into it, you know? Not to mention, while running 3D Mark's Time Spy, I actually got this really cool badge. With that being said, is this case really worth it? No, and in my opinion, is a waste of money. The only exceptions to this, however, is if you really adore this case and actually have the means to fit it around your room. Another understandable approach is if you want to do a water cooling setup because this case really is designed for that and it has a ton of space to work with. Thanks for watching and subscribe.